Beyond Bitcoin Hangouts are meant to give everyone a voice, a chance to speak with others who are passionate advocates for expanding the blockchain's use cases out into the world and beyond. Do you have a crypto community you would like to represent and hold open Hangouts for? If so, you might find yourself on the path to owning a stake in Beyond Bitcoin. We are looking for people who care about people who want to bring others together, because crypto communities are people. Beyond Bitcoin is a movement of thinkers and doers in the crypto space. And if you feel you are one of them, reach out to beyondbitcoin@gmail.com for more information on how to debut your community's efforts to reach to the stars and beyond. Welcome everyone to another Beyond Bitcoin Hangout. Today is Friday, February 10th, 2017. We're joined today by a bunch of blockchain intrepid adventurers in the blockchain space. They join every week to provide updates on what they're doing and how they're leveraging the technology to make an impact in the ways that they're passionate about within the world that we live in. So with that said, today we're going to start with PeerPlays. We're going to move to Good Karma, then Kernel, and then we are going to follow it up by a virtual growth. So with that said, Data Security Node and Crypto Prometheus, feel free to get started when you want to.
Thank you very much. I just want to do a quick test. Can everybody hear me okay?
Perfectly.
Fantastic. Just using a new headset, so I want to make sure of that. Thank you very much, Fuzzy. Thank you for that introduction. My name is Jonathan Bahai. I am the president of Bunker Chain Labs, the company which is heading up the PeerPlays. And in this past week, we've had a lot of development go on. In our previous update, we talked about how we were integrating Unity with the blockchain. And it's that development is pretty exciting. And this week, we are getting closer to the crowdfund. And next week, we're going to be giving the details on that. So be sure, if you haven't yet, to go to peerplays.com and enter your email to be notified about what's going to be happening with that, all the details and on what's happening there. So this week we wanted to do something a little differently because we are getting so close to providing details on the crowdfund and everything going on there and the work we're doing to prepare for that. We want to simply do a question and answer period to allow people to be able to ask questions about PeerPlays. And because we are of course, graced with having Crypto Prometheus with us today, who is ever so thoughtful and always speaks so eloquently to be able to answer people's questions. We're very happy to be able to offer this opportunity for everyone so that if there are outstanding questions you have regarding anything to do with PeerPlays, then we want to take this time to allow you to have that rather than taking up the time talking about the project this week. So with that, I'm going to pass it on to Michael. If people are, I'd like everyone who's listening right now to start thinking about what kind of questions you might have outstanding. And with that said, I'll pass it on to Michael. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Jonathan. I know that I might have sort of inadvertently taken up the first 10 minutes of this hangout in our pre-hangout discussion, which was a lot of fun, and naturally, I just want to be here to be with you guys and help to answer any of your questions that you have. So if anybody has anything outstanding they want to ask, please speak up right now, and I'll do my best to answer.
Can we get a real quick reminder before anybody asks any questions on what the pricing is going to be, or are you guys not able to announce that yet? I think that you kind of talked a little bit about it before, but not maybe really given us a final thing.
No, we'll have the full details. I know everyone's been waiting very patiently for this. We've naturally, like Jonathan said, we've there's been a lot of negotiation and a lot of really big things happening behind the scenes. So I'm not one to announce announcements, and we really try to avoid doing that because it's kind of a hokey thing. But every once in a while, I just can't resist. So I will say that we've got really big news coming up here in the next week. So everybody hold tight. And the the price of the tokens in the crowd sale and everything else, of course, will be part of the details that we put out next week. So yeah.
Thanks, Crypto. Now I'll open it up for anybody. Open mic. Feel free to ask your questions and give your comments. This is for those people who are not aware. PeerPlays, if you're just hearing this for the first time about it, they're going to be connecting to gaming and to betting and to sports in so many ways, and they're going to be the first graphene chain doing so.
At the risk of sounding like a broken record, could you very quickly review the requirements for witnesses? And I don't mean technical requirements. I mean, when will you disclose, if you haven't already, you may have, the requirements that witness will have your PeerPlays blockchain?
Sure. Yeah, that won't be disclosed this week, but it'll be disclosed soon. The reality is, and I know I've mentioned this before, but I appreciate you bringing it up again, Tom. I'll just say this to keep it very simple. Our goal and our vision and the nature of how things will come together. Being a witness on PeerPlays is going to be really a full-time job within a certain period of time. The nature of it's not going to be in a lot of ways it'll be the same as being a witness on other chains, but there's a very big factor in being an oracle as a witness that's going to make it, we hope and we believe, a lot more interesting and fun. Not that being a witness isn't necessarily interesting and fun for people right now, but it's going to be a really great opportunity, and also I think very competitive as well. So people like Tom, who has been here the whole time asking us about the details, and we clearly know as someone who's very interested getting in on the ground floor, much like BitShares and Steem and these other chains, getting in, doing a good job, and continuing to do a good job is going to be a big part of the requirement to being a witness going forward. Naturally, I'm just saying these things as a voter. There are many other people who hold PeerPlays tokens and who cast their votes, and generally speaking, see things the same way.
So to paraphrase, it's basically very similar technical requirements, but a major difference in terms of business requirements and how you participate in keeping on top of the oracle nature of it.
Sure. So, I mean, I've talked about this a little bit in the past, and the concept itself is not terribly difficult, although we will be much more active in releasing code that assists witnesses in doing these type of oracle-related tasks. But the sports betting exchange requires the verification and publication of accurate sporting event results. And that may sort of seem simple on the surface, but there are many things that go into doing that. Not the least of which is coordination and creating good redundancy in the systems. And we've begun to build. In fact, we're quite a ways through the process of putting together what I can only describe as the most advanced sports betting app that I've ever seen in my life. And this is something that many people have tried to do. Prediction market blockchain. Any of you who are familiar with the basic capabilities of BitShares and prediction market assets know that we have something built into the blockchain that can handle this. All I can say is that we have a number of major improvements and enhancements at the blockchain level to the prediction market features, as well as the user application, the front end level. So the largest prediction markets in the world are sporting event prediction markets. If you look at, there's kind of this concept going around out there that, hey, prediction market, you can bet on anything, right? Bet on, whatever you want, bet on it. Well, yeah, that's great, but what do people really want to bet on? Everyone wants to bet on sporting events. That's where the action is. That's where the potential revenue is. having a boundaryless, national boundaryless, worldwide decentralized betting exchange and accurate settlement of all, markets by decentralized oracles is a phenomenal proposition, and one which we are working very, very hard on with a number of teams around the world right now. So, again, I have a mandate not to go too far with the details of what we're doing, but the nature of, getting back to your question, Tom, the nature of what witnesses will be doing will be a very important and hopefully very fun job as well. So
I've got a
Thank you,
question.
Crypto.
I've kind of caught wind that you guys were share dropping to BitShares owners. Is that?
Yeah, we had a snapshot that was taken back in September to the BTS holders at the time that snapshot took place. Yep.
Oh, okay.
Hey,
Yeah, I had some BitShares on Poloniex at the time, but none on a personal account. Oops.
Yeah, unfortunately, we there was something that we tried to mitigate as best as we could. We put out the announcements. At the end of the day, you can't get to everybody, unfortunately. But yeah, it's BitShares. Obviously, the people who held BTS, many of them were contributor to the initial funds back in 2014, which actually funded the development of delegated proof of stake, right? So, the technology that we're also, fond of, that, is behind Steem and BitShares and PeerPlays, was funded by people that were really dedicated to developing a consensus algorithm that would change the world. Not that's just sort of matter of fact. So our to give back to those people, and also to capture the loyalty and the support of the BitShares community, which is most of you guys here, as well as really thousands of other people out there right now, was more than enough reason for us to be able to to make that offering, which we did.
Yeah.
Prometheus, it's good to see you again. I had a question surrounding the tokens that you guys will be accepting. I wonder if you could go into that this time around, what you guys would be accepting for the second round. So.
Real quick, Solly, before we get into that, there was one question that has been overlooked that I didn't want to interrupt anybody about, but is, while we're on the topic of the witnesses, G Chicken asked, when does the witness boot camp come into play?
I can't give you a when right now, unfortunately. It'll be when it does happen. There'll be plenty of notice. We don't generally do anything at the spur of the moment, or at least we try not to. Everything. Anyone who's followed us for long, we give lots of lead time. If you're on our email list, you're going to find out about it immediately. In fact, generally speaking, if you're coming to these hangouts, you'll be the first ones to find out about it. We are pretty adamant about you heard it here first. So G Chicken is here every single week. So I don't think you're going to miss any of this information, G Chicken. So so Sally, your question. I can say this now. I don't think there's any harm in this. The main crowd sale will be Bitcoin. So Bitcoin will be just because of simplicity. The amount that we're looking to raise and the sort of universality of Bitcoin. We did accept BitUSD in the first crowd sale, and that was something that we just had out, and it went really well. We got a lot of BitUSD. We were also really looked to our home base community at that time was BitShares, so we wanted to sort of offer that as well. But because of the nature and the scale of the crowd sale we're doing this time, we're just going to keep it simple and keep it Bitcoin.
Awesome, thanks. I appreciate that. If I don't know if you can go into this, but kind of this time around, do you guys have marketing partners that'll allow this project to really blow up like some of the Ethereum projects are doing and stuff? Because I see with what you guys are doing, one of our biggest issues in BitShares has always been we haven't always, paid a lot of attention to making sure the word is out there about awesome projects that are happening in our community. So I'm wondering if you guys this time around have partners in the sense that this project can actually get out to the rest of the crypto community.
Yeah, so we have a number of different channels that we've cultivated both internally and externally. And if you're talking specifically about the crowdfund versus the project itself, it's not sort of a cut and dry, simple, this is it and this is how it goes. That said, yes, we do have internal people that we're bringing on and have brought on, and we also have external partners that we've spoken with. So, the nature of I'll sort of back up a little bit, and Ethereum. The wonderful thing about Ethereum, and I'll give them credit for this always, is that they have something where developers can sit down and start typing in code and make something happen on the blockchain, right? So everyone looks at that and says, what better marketing tool can you have for people than say, hey, come build today? Now the downside of that, if I'm being completely honest here, is that they're running a virtual machine on the blockchain. No one has really put forth any convincing arguments in my personal opinion and in many other people's opinion of the scalability of what it is that they're proposing. There's a lot of sentiment out there that, there's just a lot of money there. So eventually, I've never been one to buy an argument that you can just throw a bunch of money at something and make it work. There's technical limitations and things like that. So I don't want to turn this into a discussion about Ethereum, but the reason I mentioned that was because the crypto space, there are, in advertising in general, there are a lot of different subtleties. Solomon, what you do, creating badass videos that just capture the mind and the imagination and make people go, man, I don't even know, you need to know what that is. I want it. or that's great. I love it. Let's do it. That's hugely valuable. And our focus and attention, we raised a certain amount of seed money. We've gathered a huge amount of force and partners behind what we're doing. We're very keen on finding people who are self-sufficient, self-motivated, getting their incentives aligned, putting them to work, and giving them the resources necessary to do what they do best. At the end of the day, as the sort of snowball starts rolling, opportunities continue to present themselves that sort of give us the opportunity to market this and that. Now, do we have a marketable product? All of these questions you ask yourself before you sort of go forward, right? Everyone wants to get the idea out there. Everyone wants to say, hey, let's just tell everyone about what you're going to be able to do in the future when we have this and that. But that never really worked for BitShares. People could never wrap their mind around what BitShares was going to do. So all of these are considerations, and I'm just sort of giving a general overview because
learning from the past, so to speak.
Yeah, there's so much happening here. I mean, nothing. When you think about running in the world in general and the challenges that are involved in that, no matter what kind of business it is you're running, and then you think about running a business where almost everything you're doing has never been done before, you start to get to a feel for the nature of the world you're living in, and of course, naturally. The most grounding thing you can do is be realistic and look around and learn from not only things from the past, but also what other people have done. There's a certain amount of instinct that's involved in it. There's a certain amount of luck, to be completely honest, like everything else in the world. But there's also my firm belief is that success is where opportunity where planning meets opportunity, right? So we're really big on planning. We're very conservative when it comes to using resources, and we are in this for the long haul. Everything we do, we don't really even make moves towards allocating resources towards things until we have a very strong. We've convinced everyone.
You don't even get paid yet.
The scalability of what we're doing, well, that's a side factor. Yeah, we've put a lot of effort and time into this.
You're being lean, man. You guys are being lean.
Sure. Well, again, at the end of the day, we're very committed to the project. We're very committed to, the vision, but also the reality that making a cryptocurrency successful, making a crypto project successful, which, if we're all honest with ourselves, not a lot of successful projects out there yet. There's a lot of projects, there's a lot of ideas, there's a lot of enthusiasm, there's a lot of people working really hard. But to have a successful project means you've got to make revenue. You've got to turn a profit. Not only that, you've got to give people the opportunity to plug in and turn their own profit, right? Because what we're doing here is building these sort of economic engines that take on a life of their own. So all of that, obviously we've all seen is not as simple as just replicating some model that exists out there and applying it. We're talking about putting things in motion that, building for the future, building future-proofing things based on theory, part theory and part market research, and so. All of that said, the reality is that the area that PeerPlays is in is very, very potentially lucrative, right? We're talking about, worldwide online gambling revenues of in the $100 billion range a year almost. So, we're tapping into a stream. We're tapping into potentially markets that don't have the capability of doing things that we're going to offer them. And we're tapping into an industry that just in general traditionally brings in tons and tons of revenue. So that doesn't mean that we can just assume that we'll just make a little bit of this work and it'll still make people money. We're very, very focused on making this the best, the shining example of what provably fair gaming, fully blockchain-based interactive, wagering and sports betting and we've got the 3D Unity applications we're doing now. So this is it's we're very adamant about all that. So I know that now I'm thinking back to the question that Solomon asked and whether or not I answered that or whether I answered probably 10 other questions, but that's a little bit of background. I want to wrap up here now though, because we're sort of running over our time, and I know there's other people waiting, and well,
how do people get a hold of you guys if they want to work with you guys, or if they want to learn a little bit more about the project? That would be a good place. And also, if you could let everybody know, just to make sure, next week the announcement on the ICO stuff will be out, right?
Yeah, sure. So for right now, if you want to check out, if you still haven't sort of got caught up to date with everything, there's PeerPlays.com is our website. PeerPlays.com/news has all the printed news that we put out for the last a year now. The Beyond Bitcoin archives are an excellent source of quality listening for hours and hours of pure bliss for anyone who happens to be a truck driver or just someone that's bored as shit at their job every day and wants to put on a pair of headphones. It's just nonstop. If anybody's wondering where all this whirlwind of activity has come from, check all of that out. And we've got a couple forum channels and stuff like that too. BitShares Talk, Bitcoin Talk. All of our announcements next week will be on PeerPlays.com/news. You'll also get an email if you're on our email list, so join that. And of course, you're going to hear it first here on Beyond Bitcoin. So thank you very much, you guys. Much appreciated. I will talk to you guys next week.
Well, there are not many projects that have share dropped and tried to keep to the social consensus, or what we considered in the very early days a way of paying back the people who took the biggest risks to put this technology out there. PeerPlays is one of the first projects that's really done that. So it's just something that I would like to plug as something that everybody should know about, because there are people out there who potentially will share drop on BitShares holders if they have a similar philosophy to those who work at the PeerPlays organizations. So what we'll go into next is going to be Colonel. He's going to be talking about SteemKure and some updates that are on that front. Colonel, are you there?
Yes, I am. Hello.
How's it going, man?
All right, yourself?
Well, I am here. I'm talking to some of the biggest nerds that I know, people I could not find in my general vicinity. Even if I, held meetups, it would probably be hard to get a group this big. So I'm feeling pretty good, man. Thanks for asking.
Cool, no problem.
So why don't we go ahead and can you give an update well, let's not go into the update. Let's go into just a quick introduction for anybody who is listening to this, has no clue what SteemKure is, and talk a little bit maybe about the blockchain that it's working with, and then maybe go into some updates and maybe some question and answer.
Sure. So SteemKure is with a K, Steam, Kure, steemkure.com. If you want to check it out, there's an About section with some information. But essentially, it's a place where you can network with other people and curate the content that you want to curate for steemit.com, all the content that's published there. So photography, art, or nature, whatever topic you're interested in, you can get people to go there and you can create a list or group or guild or whatever you want to call it based on a certain category. And then you can add each other to your lists so people can contribute to your list and add posts. And then you can grow your curation group around that. So right now it's limited to just that functionality. And I've also posted a link to in Mumble for the recent update I did this week, which added that member functionality because, well, essentially you were alone to make your own curation for a topic and no one else could add to it. But now I've added that functionality so you can add a member and people can collaborate together in order to curate the content and find things.
Oh, that's cool.
Like. Yeah, so that's essentially what it is, and that's pretty much the big update, and was adding the member functionality. But in that link, I've added, before it used to be just the URL, so I've added the titles and the author instead of just the link structure. There's also a managing page where you can add your members that wasn't there before this week. The About page, contact page, a list page, and homepage editions of the recent posts and the top 5 lists as more. If people would use it, there'd be several lists, and then you'd see the top 5 based on, right now it's based on the amount of posts, I believe, but eventually there'd be a voting from within the site based on who votes for, you could vote from SteemKure to vote on Steemit, on the Steem blockchain, and then that would be calculated within the site itself for the popularity within the site, and then the ranking would be done that way. And yeah, that's about it for the features for now.
Seems like you've been very busy, man.
How fuzzy you gone?
Yep, missing you, Fuzzy.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Yeah.
Odd. Okay, it sounds like you've been very busy, Colonel.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys heard my explanation. I might have pressed the wrong hotkey.
No, we heard you perfectly.
Okay, good.
I
Because I started responding, and then I pressed F7 instead of F8, and F7 is for Discord, and then I realized my red light wasn't lighting up.
Have you talked to the people of Steam Trails about this project?
Yeah.
Are they using it at all?
No. Discord is still more convenient. I don't have any way to comment on things, so I guess it's less convenient that way. You'd have to ask Instructor 2121.
Don't they have? I'm just thinking here because I would imagine they would have a plugin of some sort for Discord where you could actually have your Discord group chat in there, or do they not?
They didn't even have search until a few days ago.
Oh, really? So they're that new?
There's 20, 30 different channels. I don't know how the plugin would work on the site, but just Discord is more convenient. You can post things, the images show up. So I'd have to add a comment feature was something I was thinking of, where on your post you could add a comment of a disclaimer or a review for that particular post or something. It's not something that's currently done in the trail, but I don't know what would make people use SteemKure versus Discord for the Steem trail. That was one thing that was suggested, was commenting, but because some people post and they add their comments about the thing, but I don't know, maybe it's a little too limited, because there's first your own trail that you add so everyone can have their own list, and then you approve from your own trail to the channel approved so that the Steem trail account can upvote certain ones within that one channel. So then I guess there'd have to be each person would have their own list. They would add curate, and then during that day they would add to another list. They'd have to be a member of the main Steam Trail list, where they would add that post to that main list, then could be checked for review and upvoting by the Steam Trail account. But I don't know, if people use it more and give me feedback, then I'd have more of an idea of what is required and what isn't required.
Have you considered having a specific Hangout for this project and starting a little curation team for SteemKure?
I haven't considered like its own project. It's not very popular. I don't see the need for it unless people want to talk about it. But even like when we do these discussions here, there's not many questions. So that's why the feedback is very minimal for the necessity for its own airtime or whatever to discuss the project. But yes, I have thought about doing a SteemKure, because when I first joined Steemit, I had started my own curation thing before there was Curie and everything. I had called it the QC, the quality content aggregation featurette, where I would just go through all the posts of the past 24 hours and find the things that I was interested in, which was information to help ourselves, to help the world, and to help Steemit grow. And so I'd collect that and I'd put it into an aggregate of maybe 2, 3, 4, or 5 posts, whatever, in the day, and then I'd feature that on my profile. Go anywhere with other people helping me, so I was doing it alone. And then eventually there was the reblog, so I didn't see a necessity for it, but it could something I've thought about bringing back, and SteemKure could be the avenue for its own group or list focused on whatever, I guess, the things I'm focused on.
Well, the reason I say it is because our Hangouts, the Beyond Bitcoin Hangouts, started out with 3, 4 people at once at one point in time, and we did it. We've done it for a while now, and because of that, we've got well over 100,000 listens to the projects that are working on graphene technology in the BitShares ecosystem. So, I mean, I kind of hesitate to say there's not enough interest in it. I don't necessarily know. I would say that over time, though, you're continuing to add new value like valuable additions to it. So it's only just a matter of time in my eyes before somebody sees it and understands and starts working with it. And if you could kind of show people how it works by kind of exemplifying how somebody would use it, the best use cases, it might be helpful to get people to mimic your group. You know what I mean? Kind of like what's Curie was the project where they curate things together as a team, kind of, and go out and they find bad posts too, like, quote unquote bad posts, and they'll flag them and things like that and warn them and stuff like that.
No, that's Steam Cleaners.
Yeah, Colonel. Mr. Wang's saying you should be aggressive. Put on those T-Rex arms, man.
Those aren't aggressive.
Well, actually, the arms were aggressive. They just were ineffective.
Yeah, like be an example to show how things can work and how the curation list can manage and function.
Yeah, and I mean, we know that you have no problem writing up a post and getting paid decently for it. So maybe posting, like, kind of like part of that journey and showing people how you use it would be helpful.
I agree. That would. Thank you for that suggestion.
Well, sometimes I'm somewhat smart. If you would kindly, instead of thanking me, just send something to my wife telling me how often I have really good ideas, that would be probably more valuable.
I'm not sure that's a feasible thing for me to do.
Don't worry, buddy. We'll talk behind the scenes when we're not doing the Hangout.
Cool.
There are ways of setting up compensation. I'll get creative on this one.
I'll turn into an anonymous harasser, and then I'll get sued and get the police on my ass
for talking. Well, actually, I say maybe not, but you never know, man. If I'm right too often, a lot of bad things could happen. But all jokes aside, does anybody have anything that they would like to bring up to Colonel, like that they would like to see if you were to do something like this? Kind of explain what what he's doing and how he's using this tool, because you're building a tool. You know what I mean? And to have the person who built the tool showing people the best use cases that they can see is a very powerful thing.
Yeah, I agree. I'll do that for sure. Start using it just like I originally started when I joined Steam. Just recreate that and start adding posts that I value each day, and I'll just demonstrate how it can be useful for people.
And now you have kind of like an access control list where you're going to be able to give different abilities to people, right? To kind of manage the account, the community.
Yeah, right now, so for your particular list, group, guild, or community, you're the owner, and you can add members, but eventually there could be different categories where you'd have a moderator and then maybe some editors or reviewers. So eventually there could be different types of groups, different types of ranks or whatever within a group: owner, moderator, editor, reviewer, I don't know, something like that, and different functionality. And also for each list, have an idea of like different criteria so that it could be established as a standard for that group. However they choose to devise a process or methodology for curation, or that could be formalized for them so that when they do add new members, then it would already be as to how they do it in particular for their own review process to add posts.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of collaboration goes, actually, it really kind of just starts in Discord, and then it moves out to places like Google Docs and things like that for teams, or Quip, or some of these other collaboration tools. But if there's a Steam-centric collaboration tool that really focuses on the user experience for Steamians, that's, it's something that I think people should definitely support. And I think we can be safe in saying that supporting a project like this is supporting something that's valuable to the ecosystem.
Yeah, thank you. I'll just have to develop it more to make it more attractive and appealing as a tool for people to use.
Oh, I look forward to hearing more about it, man. Does anybody have any questions, comments? Are you running a community? We have 1 minute, and I know I've taken up a lot of space. Obviously, please speak up now if you would like to ask any questions or have any comments.
I have a short comment to make before we end up. We are still looking for witnesses who are joining the BitShares speed test. So if you're interested if you already have experience on steemit.com and you want to try and play around with the BitShares blockchain, we are still looking for the testnet for active witnesses who are providing and firing up their servers. And you can find more information about the test in the bitsharestalk.org forum. There's a specific thread, and we're looking for everybody who's going to join us for this test, because we did a couple of tests in the past, and we really want to show how many transactions per second you can really put through this blockchain. And it's going to be a lot of fun. So please join if you have a computer who can manage all the speed.
Now, real quick, Colonel, if anybody wants to reach out, hold on one moment. If anybody wants to reach out to you, how would they do so?
The easiest way is on SteemKure.com, KURE.com. It would be the contact page. You just put in your name, email, type up your message, and I'll get it right away and I can reply. Or admin@SteemKure.com if you don't want to go to the contact page.
Thank you very much, man. Now, I'm going to go ahead and take a 2-minute break if you guys don't mind, if you could hold on just for a moment.
So, Jody, that is a reason to stop recording. I'm actually going to maybe meet the core developer or one of the older developers of the Mycelium wallet, Andreas. Does anybody know him?
Oh, but I've been using Mycelium for years. I really like it.
Because I really want to poke his brain and see what is the future of Mycelium. Like when you go to the website after the crowdfunding from last year, they are now moving into a completely different area. They want to build like something like an ordering system for restaurants, and then you can Bitcoin. It looks really weird.
Back online. Sorry about that, guys. All right. Thank you for holding up the shop. Okay, up next is going to be Good Karma, who's going to be talking about some updates to eSteem, the application for both desktop, Android, and for iPhones. So I'll go ahead and I'll step back and I'll say, Good Karma, are you available and ready to speak?
Nope.
You fixed the
Very
bug.
quiet.
Hello, can
Cool.
Perfectly.
okay now anyone can hear me, right?
Yes, very well, ma'am.
Oh, hi everyone. Sorry for technical issues.
They happen. We are all nerds. We're all aware.
All right. Well, in this week I will talk about the latest update on eSteem, and we actually made quite big changes, and this new version we released last week now has support for Golas chain as well. So now users can use Golas or Steam as they wish if they have account on Golas or on Steam. So they can change if they are from Russian community, they can change to Golas and use their eSteam. And right now this is initial implementation, and for the security reasons, changing chain kind of requires restart of app. But after feedback from community of Golas, and we're working on improvements and making it easier to work between chains, and it will come on the next update. And another exciting change was in this version we included multi-currency support. And I know a lot of people have a difficulty understanding when they see $ next to the rewards post value. And well, to kind of make it easier to understand the tokens, or kind of making it easier to digest for newcomers, there is now multi-currency support where they can change their default currency to any currencies. Right now we have 12 currency, including Bitcoin. So they can change currency and see the value of post in any currency they want. So for example, if you change currency to Bitcoin, now you see each post reward in the Bitcoin, including your wallet rewards and everything. I think this will bring more focus on the reward part, not what that reward token is and how what is the behind that token is, and etc. So this is kind of what Golas also have. In a way, they also have a different currency because their Steam dollar is a Zolotoy backed by gold. So that's one of the reasons they have different currencies, so users can also see. And we also added a few new languages.
So real quick, if you don't mind me stopping you just right there.
Yeah, sure.
You're saying you can display how much you were paid out in the currency of your choosing. It will still be paying out in Steam. It won't be paying out in that currency, but it will display showing you the amount of the equivalent of that payout in the currency of your choice.
Yeah, exactly. So in a way, it is just like an exchange. We get the rate of that currency depending on if you are on the Golas chain. We get currency rate from the market against the gold price, and then we convert the post reward to the gold price, and then convert to any currency you choose. It can be Bitcoin and USD and any other currency. In the case of Steam, we have a Steam dollar, which means equivalent of USD. So we take exchange rate against the USD, and we convert any other currency to that.
And that's kind of cool.
Yeah, it should give more. I mean, we have multi languages, and it should give. It increases the locality of the user if they are familiar using ruble, or if they are familiar using any other currencies. Then they can get the feeling what they're earning by making post, just like saying, oh, I made post and I'm earning this much, worth of money for, I can buy, groceries. I can go groceries and buy these things. That's kind of the feeling you will get when you see the front end, when you see the application in your own language, in your own currency, that's kind of the thing I think will bring more ease to the user.
It's a huge psychological barrier to entry. That's actually originally why I was against the idea of getting rid of the Steam-backed dollar. Well, not only that, one of which is the fact that it's probably the most tightly pegged, decentralized MPA available right now. But in addition is whenever you have a currency that everybody knows, the dollar is probably the best one. But whenever you have a currency that everybody knows that they can earn money in or earn value in, and it kind of helps them to quantify it on a cognitive level, like where they can, with not utilizing a bunch of taking a lot of effort to go around figuring out and doing exchange rates and all that stuff. It's very helpful.
Yeah, exactly. I guess just we have a lot of social media, other applications coming up, which shows the point systems. You see point, but I mean, seeing that value of the point or seeing that token on your app in your own currency is kind of it helps a lot. And I think Steam chooses showing dollar was also helpful in a sense. It like you said, psychologically, a lot of people got attracted to that, and
Well, do you happen to have any statistics or any way of knowing exactly where the location of downloads for eSteem are? That might not be a bad baseline indicator of whether it's really helping at all.
Oh, you mean the statistic analytics of the app from which country is the most users and so on?
Yeah, and which ones use it the most and such?
Yes, we have that statistic. I mean, each app store provides that as well, and you can have your own analytics set up on app as well, so you can kind of know how many users, not how many, but users locality, and so that's kind of detectable. And in the next version, we also improve that so that whenever user come from, let's say, Russia, and their default language on the phone, on a device is Russian, so we will automatically show them a goalless chain, or they can change it still from settings, but it will be kind of, without confusing user, we can automatically show Russian posts, which is written in Russian, and so on, yeah. And
you mean you can automatically translate into Russian, or you mean you can automatically show posts that are any of the posts that are tagged with Russian as one of the?
In the next version, improvement will be like, let's say Russian people coming, Russian guy downloaded app and opened it, and they don't know, let's say, about anything about Steam or goalless. And the only way they can get familiar with it if they see a post in their own language. And so with eSteam, we can now, we have two chains. We can show them default one, let's say, goalless chain and goalless posts, and they can communicate and get familiar with the system. Once they know, then they can go, let's say, in the settings as advanced users, they can change any chains they want and communicate on that chain. And there is.
Wow, that's pretty big, actually, man. That's so you're saying that they'll be able to have it on both chains?
Yeah, now we have already both chains, and there will be improvements. And one of the improvements is that you can. We will, in the next version, we will have a multi-account. So we will increase this multi-chain kind of synergy better in the app, so users don't feel much differences. So there will be multi-accounts, so you can have your multiple accounts on the app, and you can use them. So you can be on goalless, or you can be on Steam. You can be on Steam with two accounts, doesn't matter. So we will have multi-account support, and that will increase this the chain synergy. another upcoming changes will be about registration, and hopefully we can get it done after multi-account, and so people can register right on app without going to register on Steemit and call us and then come back to log in. So we hope to implement this on app, and hope we will get support from Steemit Inc. and Golas Foundation for registration fees. So that would be helpful to attract more users. So we can then start to do, we can push the marketing to wider audience. Right now we're not doing marketing much because all marketing is inside community, inside Steem, inside Golas. So it's not going out of community. So once we have registration, then we can say that we reached some milestones and we can push it to the wide audience where all mobile users are. So in app stores, in the places where most mobile users find app.
Actually, I got a question about the eSteem. I really like the app. I use it almost daily, you know, when I just like in a subway or commute, check out some Steam articles and stuff. So there's a lot of good progress coming up. I was wondering, what is your monetization plans? How do you plan to make money in the future? Do you want to vote for articles for yourself that are basically like an auto built-in, or do you think about advertisement, or how do you think about that?
Right now there is well, on Steam we have with a hard fork coming up, we have a split reward functionality which author can split the reward with the platform of their choice. So I guess that will help us to revenue or help the development of the project to moving forward.
Does it mean you will get a good cut of the payout per article?
Well, that's I think that's the idea. That's I don't know much details about this future yet. I mean, it's
because it would be interesting to see, like, because eSteem is just a window to get into the Steem blockchain. You know, it's a blockchain explorer to read the content, and there are different ones. There are right now, I think 5 or 6, but in the future maybe they're going to be 50 or more, all getting in. If they would have like a really cool income stream, that would be really interesting to see what kind of options you can use to earn money and to provide the best interface for this Steem platform.
Wasn't
yes.
there sorry, real quick, wasn't there a plan of, or weren't you showing interest in having your own eSteem token?
Yes, there is a plan for that, and right now I don't want to get into that too much because the details are sorted out. But right after registration, then we can say that we reached milestone and app is fully functional. Because right now we still dependent on the registration part where user has to register on steemit.com or on Golas.io. So users cannot directly register from app. So once we have that in place, then there will be token on BitShares, which we will add BitShares. It will be like, I mean, now we have multi-chains, it will be multi-chain. So we will have BitShares as well, combination of BitShares, Steem and Golas, and there will be BitShares token which will, well, in a way which will incentivize users to use more app more. So it will be like users will be encouraged to use app more. So that's all I can say for now, because things are still planned, and later I think we will come back to this.
That's awesome.
Good Kama, where are you actually based? Are you in Europe?
Yes, Eastern Europe.
Eastern Europe, okay. Because I think, like, you know, eSteem is a very interesting platform, and I would love to introduce you to a couple of events here in Central Europe. So if you're interested, I could give you like access to a couple of pitch positions, you know, get you in front of investors and so on. When you feel you're ready to do that. We also organize, for example, here the Block Show in Munich with 500 guests, 20 startups. who are on the stage, a couple of big speakers coming. So we easily can give you a great audience to present your product, and to also secure funding if that is something you need, but also to get you a lot of publicity.
Sure, thank you. I would like that, and thanks for offering.
So just let
And
me
you
know when you
deserve
are
it.
ready to receive that.
Yeah, of course.
Congratulations on all the progress of eSteem, and it's really wonderful. I'm really looking forward to the BitShares integration, and when people register for BitShares, you can be the referrer, so that can be another income stream. I'm wondering about enabling tipping with Steem, which anybody can do today, but it takes a lot of clicks. And if that were instead obvious and easy to do in the interface, that would be a nice feature.
Beautiful.
What do you mean? How you mean the tipping?
So tip an account right from the just tip like if you see me that I posted, Brindle, you could just tip me right there, kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. I don't have to. I could do it right from below the post. Tip you. Right now, it takes maybe 5-7 clicks to go into my wallet and send you something with a memo. I'd rather do it as part of a comment, or just have a button right there under the post.
Great point.
Yeah, sure, it can be added. The thing is, commenting and sending or transferring fund is requires different key, and but this functionality will be added, and it will. I mean, each new functionality we add, we need to think about the usability and the user experience and where we put it on app, because as app gets complex, it be very slow, and it tends to be complicated for new users.
Out of curiosity, are there any things that I don't know if you've even looked at it yet, but with respect to BitShares, is there anything that you would like to see done over there to make integration easier in the future?
I don't have much comment on that part yet, because since it's still on planning part, and
sure.
Yeah.
Well, I'll just ask for feedback in the future. That's fine.
Yeah, we can come back to this on future updates, Hangouts. And I forgot to talk about the new languages. We added Portuguese language, Brazil, and we added the Chinese simplified. And thanks to the community members who help in translation, and it's growing. We have almost 80 people on translation, and helping each other, discussing and improving the translations. That's great. And we also added the language just for the fun. There is a language called Dolan, which is the language, and it's just it's not proper language, but it's a meme language just for the fun. And just try it out and see if you like it or not.
Well, as always, good karma, amazing work. Is there any way that people can reach out to you if they have any questions or comments, or if they want to reach out to you?
Yeah, of course, you can reach me out on steemit.chat. You can steemit.com or golas.io. You can comment any of my posts. I'm there as a good karma, and you can also by email reach out info@eSteem.ws, and send your feedback, suggestion, improvements, or bug issues you found, and I will get back as soon as I can.
Up next is going to be Virtual Growth. He's going to be talking about his project with Magic the Gathering and Steem. But I'll go ahead and I'll step back and I'll let you step up, VG, and give an overview of what you're doing.
So Magic the Gathering is a game that some people are familiar with. I have been a dealer actually in pre-release dealers. I ran a store and stuff. I was in Magic in the first couple of years. And with the online gaming, I thought about doing a digital business actually many, many years ago, long before Bitcoin. So now I'd like to explore that again. I created MTGO ticks as a asset. So that will be the Magic the Gathering event ticket. So they'll be equally exchanged initially at 1-to-1. And it will also be part of Steem MTG, which will be Magic the Gathering for Steem. We can possibly do Bitcoin as well, depending on what people are interested in. Very few businesses have offered cryptocurrencies to the Magic the Gathering game cards, and there are people that are interested in this. I shared a Reddit link in my post that describes this. So this will be an asset that will gain value as far as the business and trading. So it'll be an investment as well as a equally exchanged for initially the BitUSD, because that's what the Gathering online event ticket is worth, is one. The event ticket itself is kind of like cryptocurrency. It is a base unit. It is used in Magic the Gathering online platform to enter events, so people can event little tournaments with booster packs and those, or constructed tournaments. And the event tickets are used as entry fees for a couple dollars, and then those event tickets are also used as a reward for those events. So it's kind of like cryptocurrencies where it goes in and out. Now I want the BitShares token to be equal to that, and then I want to grow with the business. And the business can also run a bot to trade cards, which could be like a different form of mining. So then when I'm not doing anything, I can just have my computer do trading for me in the business, and that'll make money for the people, and it helps the community, and it might bring other people from Magic the Gathering, which is gamers, to have knowledge of the digital aspect of things, and they could possibly come into Steam it and or BitShares as well. So kind of bring into community interactions, which people know me as liking. So that will be an ICO for the next or so. The dates are on the post, March 9th, I believe it was. So it'll be 1 month, they'll be offered at $1 each, and then they'll slowly grow. And after that point, it will be adjusted to the price of the business and the amount of cards and ticket inventory, so that it's liquidity as in that asset as well. If anybody has any questions or comments, feel free to ask, and I'll pause now.
There's a lot that I would like to ask, but I'm going to step back for a moment and let anybody else ask if they would like.
Well, I just have a comment. I think, going with what you know is a good idea. So, good job.
Thank you, B-Funk. That's essentially what it is.
I remember seeing that game being played in lunchrooms at school when I was in high school. I never tried bothering with it, though. Kind of curious, I guess, a little bit.
Well, here's the thing, man. A lot of people... I'm sorry. Okay. My 20 seconds of silence is over, Mr. Wang. These cards, some of them have insane valuations, okay? And I mean, like, they have rare cards that it's kind of like football cards and basketball cards, that element, for people who are not familiar.
It's a sport card industry.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like sport card industry, but it's games. Now, you have a bunch of cards. There's commons, uncommons, and rares, so there's different rarities. And there are cards that are worth pennies, and there are cards that are worth thousands of dollars. And these are mass-produced in millions of cards, thousands and thousands of cards. But there's also limited edition cards where there's very few. I've owned cards where there's only been a dozen in the world, and other collectibles and such. And I'll let Fuzzy continue. I just wanted to throw that out there.
Oh, no. Well, I'm glad that you bring it up, because you're kind of the expert in this. I've played online because I refused to spend the exorbitant fees that it would take for me to actually have a good deck. So I've played on my phone before and on Steam, but on Steam, actually, like the other Steam, STAM. But anyway, what they do is they have these tournaments. So I'm assuming that you're going to be having tournaments, and these tickets are going to be for buy-ins.
Well, that's already on the Magic Online platform. This token is just going to be exchangeable for the online token for Magic the Gathering Online.
Oh, wow, really? I was not aware of this. I haven't played Magic the Gathering Online for probably a year and a half. So this has been over the past year or so that they've put tokens in there?
No, I'm going to do this as a business model. That whole thing is the same. I'm going to use this token to be exchangeable for those event tickets, and then exchange them for the cards itself as a secondary market. And it'll also be an investment vehicle.
And will this be for
that's
real?
Cool idea.
Yeah, will it be for online? It's going to be for the online cards then?
Yes, the online cards. It's just going to be. It's purely digital business, so it's going to be digital tokens for the digital cards.
So they have a card marketplace of some sort then on Magic Online then.
That is correct. It's within their platform, which has the game. Everybody's collections is in the database, and then they have a marketplace so people can trade for each other. And what they use is the Magic the Gathering event ticket, which is one ticket worth about $1 to enter the events. And then that is used as trading currency, essentially.
So if I want to join up and get my ass kicked by people who really know what they're doing, I would go and I would buy or download Magic the Gathering Online. I don't remember if it's free or not. Is it free to play?
It is now $10 for an account, but you can play for free to try it out.
Okay, so it would be a $10 for the account, but then you would pay $1 in, and you would end up potentially, if you win, if you have the luck of the draw and you win, because let's face it, Magic the Gathering is skill, but it's also it's definitely luck too. And you win, how you win this pot? Is that how it works? Or you win tokens that are redeemable for that?
Okay, the tokens are completely outside of Magic the Gathering. Event tickets. Event, it's usually 2 to enter. And those event tickets go into a pool for the top prizes.
You got all clippy again there, Virtual Growth.
I'll disconnect and reconnect again.
I will. While he's doing that, I will say Magic the Gathering, it is a fun game to play. I mean, if there's a pot and you can win something cool out of it, I'm interested in playing the game. I would definitely play it again. I would never probably win, but it's a fun game to play if you have some time to do it.
I really like the idea of using like cryptographic tokens to prove authenticity of cards. I don't even play the game, but
that's a good point.
Just, cryptographic tokens to prove authenticity of everything. Fake Nike shoes, whatever it might be. Yeah, exactly. So I like that he's doing that with that. That's cool.
Yeah, it's basically just a secondary market. I'm just going to be doing the trading for the cards. I would like to do a game in the future that involves actually tagging crypto tokens, which would be different. That's what Spells of Genesis does with their game. And that technology is very new and not much understood. And it's not many blockchains are capable of that as well, because it's very different.
Have you thought, speaking of which, and not to put down the Magic the Gathering system, because obviously Magic the Gathering is amazing, but have you ever thought to reach out to Spells of Genesis about something like this? I mean, they might even offer sponsorships for you to do this on Steam.
I'm just trying to keep things simple right now. I've looked at their whole technology, and there's people who've written certain things. It's very tricky to actually tag a particular, because they're not really coins, they're just exchanging. It's it takes a whole nother language and technology and protocol and layer level to do that.
Is it because it's kind of like a colored coin?
It's a colored coin with information that travels with that individual colored coin.
Yeah, and it's not exactly a very broadly used technology at this moment in time.
Coins with serial numbers?
Essentially, not exactly serial numbers,
with private
but sometimes
keys.
Metadata.
Metadata. It's more of metadata, like you'd be trading a card that there would be a bunch of, and that could be done with like counterparty assets, which are a little easier. You could do a particular one and then add a picture to it because of the way that system is set up. Those systems are a little different.
Yeah, colored coins were very early on ideas, and I think that though they were kind of a way to do it, I don't know that they're necessarily proving to be the most effective way.
No, colored coins are too limited in their abilities. I looked at them extensively, all the different ones that were coming out, and we weren't far enough along learning about crypto and using it yet. We've come so far, and yet we're nowhere near our capabilities and understanding what we could do.
Well, I mean, you look at something like BitShares, and it's like you make an asset, you pay a little bit of money to do it, and the only thing I think that I don't think we're missing it anymore. You can put an image in there too, as for your crypto. I'm pretty sure to be traded on the DEX.
Yes, you can, but it's a matter of having the assets and a bunch of them with different pictures and different information and tradable between people, and then keeping informations of statistics of all those things to have a game and some type of gaming points.
Well,
and I think with PeerPlays and interacting with Unity and some type of database, that will be possible. And when I see more information of that, I'm seriously thinking of attacking a project like that, because that's something I've been interested in for decades, maybe, being Magic the Gathering and wanted to do something different.
Well, yeah, I tend to agree with you, man. PeerPlays is going to be a pretty badass thing to behold. I mean, it's yeah, but this is about what you're doing, so I won't get off too off topic on that. So my big question really was just because you're really focusing on getting people interested in the online Magic the Gathering events, I'm assuming, and kind of everything else wraps into that, but that's kind of the focus. Is that fair enough to say?
People are already interested in that. What I'm interested in is just a secondary market of buying and selling the cards themselves as a service to offer to buy and sell cards not for US dollars and their other systems, but actual cryptocurrencies.
See, I'm not gonna lie, my one concern is how many people will go onto the decks and research. You know, you might have to have like a site with like links to each place where you can buy each token, and then have pictures along with it for each card. And then like on that site, I can click and then go to Open Ledger, that market, and buy it there. Or maybe buy it directly from your site eventually, you know, or something like that.
That is correct. The token is going to be more in exchange for MTG event tickets, or just as a way to invest in the business model, which will sell cards like on Steam, Steam it for Steam through comments, make a post about what inventory is for sale, and then people can comment what they want, and it could possibly be posted on PeerHub. I'm not sure exactly what marketplaces I will be using yet, or which ones will be utilized. But I can try out all different ones. Go ahead, Crypto.
I think it was my red lips you saw there. Not wishing you any ill will, but like all user-issued assets project, I'm just wondering about key man insurance kind of thing. If somebody is looking at this as an investment vehicle, and if something happens to you, what happens to their investment?
It will be set up so that the business was sold off and the tokens are bought back by someone close to me, and I understand that concern.
Thank you for addressing it. Again, hoping you make it until the immortality drugs are here.
I'll disclose risks, rewards, information as well. If the business doesn't work, there'll always be liquidity and be able to sell everything off and buy back all the tokens. And of course, that's a valid concern.
Thank you for addressing it.
All right. Well,
you're welcome.
VG, if there's anything that somebody wants to reach out to you about, or if they want to contact you, how would they go about doing that?
Can reach out to me on Gmail, Discord, or steemit.chat, all as virtual growth.
And when is the next event going to be for this Magic the Gathering?
Well, I'm not really direct with the events. The events are on that platform all the time. The events are all the time. I'm just going to be offering the secondary market to buy and sell the cards. So that will be continuous as a business model.
Oh, okay. So we'll be able to buy them if we're playing on that platform using BitShares.
That's correct. And Steam-backed dollars, and Bitcoin. There's less than like a half a dozen sites that actually sell Magic the Gathering cards for cryptocurrencies.
Well, that's awesome then. So BitShares is going to have a site that does this. That's a big announcement, actually. I hope that you post this on BitShares Talk as well.
I have already.
Okay. And with that said, thank you everybody for joining up. Thank you, Virtual Growth. Thank you, Good Karma. Thank you, Colonel and Data Security Center and Crypto Prometheus from PeerPlays. The people like you guys make Beyond Bitcoin happen. So make sure to help the people who are helping out. Apple Crisp is going to start cutting up these hangouts like Colonel was doing. I would ask all of you to consider upvoting him. And I really want to thank all of you who've made this possible, who always are here, who are part of this, and who are always trying to be the glue that brings this thing together. It's not always easy, and we've got a lot of stuff on our plates, but it's been very rewarding thus far. At least the journey has taught us all a lot, and we're seeing that a lot of the things that we've been saying for a long time, they're becoming obvious to people in different places in the market. So I want to say thank you for everybody who's made this possible, and I guess we'll go ahead and we'll close this one off, and we'll see you next week.
La 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 la.